breathless conversation, the universe is listening. The mind has two functions. It forgets and it remembers, and we have to train it.
If you could teach somebody something in 3 minutes or less that could change their life, what would it be? All right, welcome to the UnstoppablePreneur Show. I'm super excited to meet with Andrea here. So we were just chatting right before this show, and holy cow, we didn't know we had so many different connections. She's a Canadian, and super cool things that she's up to with a yoga background and so many awesome things, a Reiki master. So yeah, I'm excited to just hear some of your journey, because you mentioned that you were, stay-at-home mom or single mom and going through a lot of things, and also doing a side thing and learning and then still having a job. So tell us your story, because a lot of people suffer out there and struggle, and sometimes at the end of the day they just want to quit. They want to stop because it's just too chaos.
Yeah, I think that's basically the life of an entrepreneur. It's like it's a lot of struggle, and there's not that instant reward. But I really, the one thing I can say throughout my whole life and everything that's happened is I always believed in myself. I really came to believe in myself and the skills that I had. And when I had insights and knew that I could do things, I kept following that. So yes, there's that voice that talks you out of things, but then there's something greater to that. And so I'll encourage everyone to follow that. And what of the main lessons that I learned really was that the dark parts of my life and the light parts of my life are both love. And so it's not, when you're in those dark moments, you have to realize that that's also part of being great. Everything is not separate. We're not separate. And so it's really important that entrepreneurs, especially if you have something that you believe in, if you have that, I call that like a spark of destiny that's inside of you. And what I truly believe that it's like what Les Brown says, and you'll probably relate to this, Tyler, is that it would be the saddest graveyard if you died with that book or that song. It just went with you to the grave. So I'm all about trusting that inner voice. And despite odds, I was, successfully able to publish 3 books in 3 years. That these were just ideas in my head, but I never stopped. And, it's a lot of saying no to your friends to go out on the weekends and a lot of sacrifice, but it's also so rewarding that, this pile of papers in my living room is literally a book right now and became #1. And so there's magic in not knowing what the result is and not seeing an instant result. But then, I never dreamed that the words I was writing would actually become a #1 bestseller. And so imagine I gave up all the days that I wanted to. I wouldn't be here right now in this moment sharing this with you. And so you have to keep going, and you have to fight through the inner doubts and stuff.
So what would you say to somebody who does have like a vision? Maybe they do want to write a book or be a coach or do something outside of their norm, but they're really not seeing any current, tangible result. Like even writing the book, in the moment, you don't see anything till even after, and sometimes even after. And
yeah,
what do you do during those times where there's no like fix to, you know what I mean? Because we live in this day where it's like popcorn age, where it's like, okay, just put it in the microwave, zap, done. I got the result. Right.
Yeah.
So how would you speak to that?
You know what? I started to believe that I was connected to something bigger than just myself. And so in those moments when, I feel too fat or too ugly or my words are stupid and things like that, right? We all feel that way sometimes. I try to imagine that there's people behind me looking at me, and that what I have to say might be just what they need to hear. Like, there's a Tim McGraw song too. I think it's him. And he says something about once you learn the lesson, you have to turn around and help the person behind you. And it's also the hero's journey. Joseph Campbell, The Power of Myth, is a great book. Once you learn insight and you go on a journey, you have to share that with other people, because there's people behind you. And so I don't think about me being on the podcast, but I think about how can my story benefit somebody else? And we're all here to benefit somebody else, especially the people that have that insight, that vision, that they have something. Those are the seeds to water. because that is something, and you know it, and you're the only one that knows it. And it's important to share that with the world. In Zen Buddhism, I learned that's called bodhicitta. There's a name for that. Like, it's an inner knowingness that you're born with. And I have that. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs have that. And it's not a life where you have that security of like a steady paycheck, or you could just get a mortgage really easy. But it's definitely worth the fight because it makes you who you are.
And with that inner knowingness, what's one way that someone could tap into that, Andrea?
That's my favorite question. So my second book, Deeper Days, is exactly that. So what I did for a long time was I found A Course in Miracles when I was in New York City in like 1999. I found A Course in Miracles. It was Marianne Williamson was giving some talks, and she's a famous author now. She just ran for president in the States for the second time. And she had a book called A Course in Miracles, and it was a daily practice. And I learned in that practice, doing it every day for 3 years, not just one, that you can transform your thoughts from fear into love. And so after all of my yoga teachings and stuff, just to make a long story shorter, I wrote Deeper Days during the lockdown, and it's 365 yoga inspirations for inner calm amidst chaos. But it's really what people, sages and ancient wisdom has been doing for years, is the art of concentration. And so, opening it up, it's just one thought a day, like breath is conversation, the universe is listening. If you can remember and focus your mind on one thought a day, then you can focus on 2 and 3. And then there's a space there where you can actually hold something, where you can create your vision, right? So you're not on that reactivity mode, but there's a spot inside of you, there's space inside of you where there's a kingdom of this, where your dream is, where your vision is. And that's how you tap in. You close your eyes, you take a moment, or you repeat the mantra, the words back to yourself. You need to have that one little bit of space, that extra breath, that yoga practice that you do, that minute in the morning with your coffee where you're just still. There has to be stillness, because inside of you is a brilliant song singing. And so we need a way in to listen to it in the mind. And so the whole point of Deeper Days is to cultivate that, being in touch, connected to your heart center. Because let's face it, as soon as you open your email, that's it, you're gone for the day. Especially if something, right, like is like, oh, that jerk wrote that. Well, yeah, your whole day can be gone. But if you just take that couple minutes in the morning to strengthen your mental muscles, it's the art of concentration. There are seeds inside of us of focus, awareness, and concentration, as much as there is of doubt, hatred, and fear. So it's what seeds are we watering? So, but just taking that couple minutes during the day, even 1 minute, or coming back to that one sentence throughout the day to bring the mind back, you're connected to your heart center, your creative self. And that's where the entrepreneurship comes from. That's where you do more things to honor your vision.
Awesome. So like, if you could teach somebody something in 3 minutes or less that could change their life, what would it be?
I would say this: wherever you are, not driving a car, but wherever you are right now, if you can close your eyes and feel your breath, just for a moment, to feel your breath, whether it's in your tummy, whether you feel the rise and the fall in your tummy, or whether you feel the coolness on the nostrils of the inhale and the warmth on the exhale, then you can be in touch with the greatest part of yourself. And there's greatness within all of us, but we have to cut through the monkey mind that's always wandering and able to tap into that space. So I would say, find your breath. And what I teach kids, when I teach kids any classes, I always say that your breath is your best friend. It's always there. If you close your eyes anywhere you are, except driving, it's always there.
That's awesome.
It's always
cool.
there.
Yeah.
And then the mind has 2 functions. It forgets and it remembers, and we have to train it. You don't have a puppy come in the house and not train the puppy. You have to train your mind to have it working on your side, because there is resistance in the world. And you have to have a way to combat that, especially if you're an entrepreneur, because you will doubt yourself, but you can also love yourself. So it's a matter of knowing how your mind works and to get your mind on your side where you want to go. Have that vision. Find your breath. You can hear the inner voice, and then you'll know what to do. There's an inner intelligence that will tell you what to do next.
That's great. So the inner voice starts with the breath, learning to be in tune with it, hearing it, feeling it, sensing it, and then building that muscle.
Just that one moment develops that skill of bringing the mind back. It's attention, bringing the attention back.
Very cool.
So if you can do that, then you can start to train your mind to work with emotions and to do the things you need to do to get your goal, your vision, your business up and running. It'll just be stronger. If you watch the show Billions, you'll see them. They both meditate on the couch. They both sit there, close their eyes, and then they snap awake in that show. And they're big business people, and they know exactly what to do. And I think that's inside all of us all the time.
That's cool. So if somebody wanted to learn more about this, I know you have several different books. What's the best resource that they go to follow you or to get some of your stuff?
I would say Ganga Moon Yoga on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn.
Ganga. How do you spell
Ganga? Ganga. It's the river Ganga in India, and it's a river of healing. So Ganga Moon is my birth sign for July 7th is my birthday, and yoga, of course. Also, you can go by my name, Andrea Wehlann, but the last name is hard to spell. It's Wehlann. So Andrea L. Wehlann on all social media platforms. On YouTube, there's free videos. Amazon.com has all of my books there, Deeper Days, No Matter How Dark the Stain, and Stillness in the Storm.
Sweet. Well, thanks so much. And if you had like the whole world to speak to, and you had 30 seconds or less to give them the most important message ever, what would it be?
The dark parts of your life and the light parts of your life are both love. You are love. Never give up. Keep going. There is greatness within you, and it's never too late to shine. You are destiny.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So yeah, thanks, Andrea. That was awesome and really appreciate you. And thanks everyone for hopping on, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hey, what's up? If you want to get access to learn the full process of how to change at a cellular level, click the link in the description. I actually have created a way for you to get access to the Unstoppablepreneur School for free so that you can check it out on a trial so you can experience these changes for yourself. So if you want to learn more, if you want to dive deeper, if you want to go through some of the coolest processes on the planet and the fastest hacks, click the link in the description and we'll see you on the other side.
Was it me? No, it was each and every one of you. So we all chose to do that. No one forced you. No one made you. You chose, which is freaking awesome.